This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read and recorded by Betsy Bush. Marquette, Michigan, February 2006. Domestic Cookery. Useful Recipes and Hints to Young Housekeepers by Elizabeth E. Lee. Section 14. Lard, Tallow, Soap and Candles. Rendering lard. The leaf lard should be rendered by itself, as it does not take so long as that with the skin on. Cut it up fine and put it in a clean pot with half a pint of water, stir it frequently, and let it boil fast at first. When the cracklings are light brown and float on the top, it is nearly done, and should cook slowly. When done, strain it into your vessels with a thin cloth put over a colander. If you put lard in stone or earthenware jars, it should be cooled first, as there is danger of their cracking. White oak firkins with iron hoops and covers to fit tight are good to keep lard, and if taken care of will last for 20 years. The fat that has the skin on should be cut very fine, taking the skin off first. It takes longer to boil than leaf lard, and there is more danger of burning. Put a pint of water in the pot. The skins should be boiled alone, and will do for soap fat after the lard is out of them. Soak the inside fat all night in salt and water. Wash it in the morning, and put it to boil without any water in the pot. It is not so nice as other lard, and should be strained by itself. It does very well for frying. Lard keeps well in large tin vessels, with tight covers, and is not apt to mold. Rendering tallow. Cut the tallow fine, and put it to boil in a large pot with a quart of water. Stir it frequently, and keep it boiling moderately for 6 hours. When the cracklings begin to turn brown, it should boil very slowly till done. Put a little water in the bottom of your Dutch ovens or tin pans, and strain it with a cloth over the colander, or the settlings will run through and hurt the looks of your candles. Soap. It requires some care and experience to have good soap, but when you once get beforehand, it is easy to keep up the supply if the ashes are good. The lye stand should be made of cedar or pine boards in the shape of a mill hopper, and have holes bored in the bottom for the lye to run through. Have 4 posts planted in the ground to support it. Let it be high enough for a small tub to set under. If you cannot have it under a shed, there should be a tight cover of the boards to protect it from the rain. Put some sticks in the bottom of the lye stand and some straw, and pack in a bushel of ashes, then half a peck of lime, and when it is half full of ashes, put in 2 buckets of water, and another when you get near the top. Pack it well, and put on some more water. Then cover it over. Pour on hot water 3 times a day for several days. When you are ready to make soap, have a large pot of water, which must be kept boiling, and put it on as fast as it will bear. Save the strongest lye by itself. If the lye will float an egg, it will answer. Have your soap fat laying in strong lye through the winter. Put a gallon of this in a large pot, and put to it a gallon of the strongest lye. Let it boil an hour, stirring it often. Then put in 2 gallons more of strong lye. When this is boiled, put in weak lye till the pot is full. Let it boil an hour or 2 slowly, and be careful that it does not go over. Cool some on a plate, and if thick, it is done, but if not, boil it longer. Put it away in a tight barrel, and prepare to make more soap. If you have 2 large pots, both of them can be kept going at the same time. Several barrels of soap can be made from 1 lye stand. A large oil cask is good to keep soap in. If a barrel leaks, set it under a spout in a rain, or fill it with water. It is of the greatest importance to keep the soap fat in strong lye. Have an oil barrel in the cellar half full of strong lye, and put in cracklins, bacon skins, pot skimmings, beef bones, or any scraps. When eaten by lye, it will take but little boiling. It is much the easiest and safest way, where there are children, to make soap without boiling. Put 4 gallons of soap fat that has been eaten with lye in a barrel with 8 gallons of strong lye. Stir it 2 or 3 times a day for a week or two, then fill it up with weaker lye. You may have several barrels making at a time, so as always to have some for use. It takes some time to make it in this way, but if you are careful, and once get ahead, you need not boil the soap unless you prefer it so. If your lye is not strong, dissolve potash in hot water and add to strengthen it. Hard soap. Have 15 pounds of clean fat to 20 gallons of clear strong lye. Let it boil until thick, when put in half a peck of coarse salt. If it does not curdle in 2 hours, put in more salt till it does. Then pour it out in a tub to cool till the next day. When put on your pot with some weak lye, cut the soap out of the tub and boil it in this an hour. Then put it in the tub, let it get cold, cut it in squares, and put it on a board to dry. Unless you have plenty of ashes and soap fat, it is much cheaper to buy hard soap than to make it. If you have but a barrel full of ashes, you can make a barrel of soap. Bore a hole in the bottom of a barrel, put a few sticks across. When half full of ashes, put in a quart of lime, and some water. Keep the hole plugged up till you are ready to make the soap. You can have a barrel of ashes put in the cellar in winter to use for washing and scrubbing. Keep a tub under it to hold the lye as it drops. Potash soap. Persons living in cities frequently have grease that would do to make soap, but are at a loss for lye in consequence of burning coal instead of wood. 12 pounds of pure grease of any kind, put with 10 pounds of potash in an oil barrel and filled with water, makes good thick soap, and is much cheaper than buying hard soap. It should be stirred frequently, and if the ingredients are put together in warm weather, and the barrel stands where it can be exposed to the heat of the sun, without danger of getting rain in it, it will be fit for use in a few weeks without the aid of fire. If you wish to make soap immediately, put 3 pounds of potash, 4 of grease, and about 10 gallons of water in a large iron pot, boil it over the fire, and it will make good thick soap in a few hours. It need only boil long enough to dissolve the potash, which is sometimes in very hard lumps. If you use the crumbled potash, you must put rather more of it, as it is not as strong, and a little lump of quick lime will make it turn quicker. Another recipe. 2 days before you wish to commence your soap, pour about 2 gallons of boiling water on 10 or 12 pounds of potash to dissolve it. Then put it in an iron pot or kettle with 10 gallons of rain water, hang it over the fire, and when it has dissolved, pour 12 pounds of grease, which has been purified by boiling in water, or weak lye, into a well-hooped barrel. An oil barrel from which one head has been taken, and the bung well fastened, is best. Then pour the water in which the potash was dissolved over the grease in the barrel, and stir it for half an hour. Afterwards, fill up the barrel with cold soft water, and stir it every day for 2 weeks. If at the end of that time the fat swims on the top, beat a pound or 2 more of potash fine, throw it in the barrel, stir it well, and the soap will be finished. Labor-saving soap. Take 2 pounds salt soda, 2 pounds yellow bar soap, 10 quarts of water. Cut the soap in thin slices and boil all together 2 hours, and strain it through a cloth. Let it cool, and it is fit for use. Put the clothes in soak the night before you wash, and to every pail of water in which you boil them, add 1 pound of the soap. They will need no rubbing, merely rinse them out, and they will be perfectly clean and white. This soap can be made for 2 cents per pound. Lye and soda preparation for washing clothes. To 16 gallons of water, put 1 gallon of lime water, 12 ounces of soft soap, or if hard soap it must be first melted, and 4 ounces of soda. Put them together in your wash kettle, and when nearly boiling put in the clothes, being careful to have them as much of a kind as possible. They should be wet first with common water, boil 1 hour, then wash. Scald and blue as usual. The limestone should remain in the water at least 4 days before it is used, and be about of the strength of lime water for drinking, and the same stone will do for several times if good. The lye will do for boiling a second set of clothes by adding a little more, and afterwards for towels and coarse things. Prints and flannels must not be boiled. Volatile soap and directions for washing clothes. Cut up 3 pounds of country barred soap into 3 pints of strong lye. Simmer it over the fire until the soap is dissolved, and add it to 3 ounces of pearl ash. Pour it into a stone jar, and stir in half a pint of spirits turpentine, and a gill of spirits of hartshorn. Cover the jar tight, and tie a cloth over it. To use the soap, have a tub half full of water as hot as you can bear your hands in. Assort the clothes, and beginning with the cleanest of them, rub a small quantity of the soap in the soiled parts of each article, and immerse them in the water one by one, until it will cover no more. Let them soak for 15 or 20 minutes, then stir them well for a few minutes, and boil them for half an hour in 8 or 10 gallons of water, to which a tablespoonful of the soap has been added. Rinse them, using blue water where it is required as usual, and they are ready for drying. After the white clothes are finished, the same waters will answer for the colored ones, adding hot water and more soap. By the use of this soap, most of the rubbing can be dispensed with, and it is not injurious to the texture of the clothes. It has been proved that the clothes washed in this way are more durable than with the common soaps, and the rubbing required in connection with them. It is particularly recommended for washing flannels and calicoes. The above quantity is sufficient for a family of 4 or 5 persons for a month, varying slightly as the clothes are more or less soiled. Its cheapness recommends it to all housekeepers. Candles. Weigh the tallow, then you can judge how many candles you can make. 6 and 8 candles to the pound do very well for working and reading by. 10 to the pound does to use in the kitchen or to carry about the house. Put the wicks on the rods the day before you expect to make candles, and dip them in a little melted tallow. You can then straighten them out. Have a large pot nearly half full of hot water. Melt the tallow in another pot and fill it up, and keep more tallow at the fire to fill in as it is used out. Put coals under the pot to keep it at a proper heat. Have poles set on stools about a foot apart to support the rods. Dip the rods in the pot alternately until they are as large as you wish them. Wax makes candles burn longer, but turns them yellow. The best way is to put in 2 pounds of wax when you first begin to dip, and it will be used up before they are dipped the last time. When they are done, cut off the ends and put them in boxes. Most good managers in the country make enough candles at a time to last a year. If you have not enough tallow to dip candles, you can mold. Some mutton tallow is very good for this purpose. End of section 14.